Hi everyone, and welcome to Fairy Tales in 5 Minutes. Now if you just want to skip straight to the story, you can check the comments down below and there will be a timestamp there for you. But if you're new or if you just want a reminder, here's how this works. I have a list of words, concepts, and phrases that often pop up in these types of stories. I generate 5 words off that list by rolling a die, and then I give myself 1 hour to write a fairy tale that incorporates each of those 5 words. Then I time it to make sure that the entire story is no longer than 5 spoken minutes in length, and the final product is what you're about to see before you today. Just as a note, anytime one of those 5 words pops up for the first time in the story, it will also come up somewhere around here on your screen, so keep an eye out for those, and away we go. After a full week of absolute darkness, the townspeople were terrified. They petitioned the royal family in droves, but the king and queen claimed that the lack of light was a natural phenomenon, and that there was no need to worry. Unsurprisingly, no one was comforted by this. They began to turn to their elders. The same ancient crone who had once been avoided in the marketplace now had a barrage of visitors at her doorstep. The woman had long ago been banned from any contact with royalty. It had been so for years. The current king's father had been the one to make the decree, and she had lived nearly 18 years, isolated and rejected. She confirmed that they were being lied to. The darkness was magical in nature. Her suggestion was simple: speak to the princess instead. The problem was that the princess was never apart from at least one of her parents, when she was seen at all. But the crone's advice never changed. "Be creative," she cackled, when one woman, one of the queen's ladies-in-waiting, exclaimed that she couldn't bear it any longer. The woman, Hannah, would later find a small glass vial tucked in amongst her belongings. A vial that she couldn't recognize, full of deep blue liquid. She knew that she should be cautious. She didn't know what it would do, after all. But unrest in the realm was at an all-time high, and the king and queen seemed oblivious to how bad things had gotten. So later that night, she poured a few drops from the vial into the queen's goblet of wine. In the morning, when she brought her breakfast, Her Majesty was still asleep, and Hannah couldn't wake her. She was clearly still alive. Her face was calm, her chest rising and falling with each breath. But Hannah, unsure of what to do, called for the guards, who informed the king. The king demanded the presence of the court physicians, who could find nothing wrong with his wife. Frantic, he summoned fortune-tellers and sorcerers, hoping that some spell could rouse her from her enchanted sleep. They all had the same answer, though. He must seek out Lord Danforth. Only when the wrong he had done him had been made right could the curse be broken. The king ordered each of them to be removed from the grounds and decreed that no one should ever repeat what they had heard, on pain of imprisonment. Hannah, seizing an opportunity she never thought she would have, managed to catch up with Princess Mariana as she walked back to her chambers that night. Mousy as Hannah was, she hadn't been noticed lingering outside of the queen's chamber doors, and had overheard everything that had been said within. At Hannah's mention of Lord Danforth, Mariana quickly ducked her head, but not before Hannah saw the blush that colored her cheeks. She asked Hannah to stay with her, telling her own ladies-in-waiting that she really wanted someone who reminded her of her mother nearby right now. They bowed their heads, murmuring sympathetically, and left. When darkness had fallen, she hurried Hannah downstairs to the wine cellar, where she revealed a secret passageway that led outside. "You can come with me if you want," she whispered, "but we won't be back here." Hannah shrugged. "You shouldn't go alone. Where are we headed?" "I'll tell you on the way." Mariana smiled. She slipped soundlessly to the stables and saddled a horse for each of them. She didn't speak at all until the castle was nearly out of sight. "Do you know Lord Danforth's son?" "I know of him." She smiled again. "We're in love. Always have been. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I was going to be married this year either way. It was nice when I thought I could do that with someone I actually cared about. But Mother had other plans for who my husband should be. Since I'm the only child of the royal bloodline, they wanted to make sure that I would marry someone who was as rich and influential as possible. They told Daniel that he wasn't good enough. We would see each other sometimes anyway. No one said we couldn't do that. But Father can be such a beast. He caught us once, and he got so angry that he sent Daniel and Lord Danforth away, saying that he would arrest them if he ever saw them again. They didn't go far, but that's why my parents stopped letting me do anything. They were always afraid we'd run away together. She raised her eyebrows, laughing a little. The last time I saw him, there was this shooting star. We made a wish that one day we would be together. But we didn't think anything of it. It was just a silly whim. But I was supposed to meet my husband at the end of this month, and once all this started happening, I knew it was a sign. Our wish must have worked. She didn't seem to mind, but Hannah had no idea what to say. She just continued riding. In the morning, for the first time in days, the sun rose on the princess's empty bed as the queen opened her eyes. Well, I hope you had as much fun listening to that one as I had writing it, and thank you for your patience while I was off preparing for my new job last week, which, speaking of, there is going to be a little bit of a scheduling change. So because of work starting up again, instead of doing fairy tales every Thursday, I'm going to do them on the first and third Friday of each month. And then whether there's content on that second and fourth Friday or not is kind of going to depend on how the week goes. So I will also link the Facebook page to the video description so that you can get kind of the weekly scheduling update if you would like to go and give that a like. And the other way, so make sure that you don't miss a video, is to subscribe to the channel. So, on that note, I'm going to pull up my list so that we can roll for next week's 5 words. So, next week we will have a coach, a wand, some more magic, which was not technically a word for this week, but in fact, a mirror, and snow. Okay, so I am excited to find out what's going to happen with those. I will see those for you in 2 weeks. And next Friday I'm planning to do another school video, so keep an eye out for that if that's interesting to you, and if not, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and feel free to share this video with someone you think might like it.